Hello, this is Jerry. Big shout out to Winner Lao Wai for sending me this article. I'm an Asian woman engaged to a white man, and honestly, I am struggling with that. So, this is by Tria Chang, and this is for HuffPost Life. So, we will read this. I assume this is the white guy, this is the Asian woman. Oh, it's a cute couple, man. What do you guys think? Are they cute?
Think you could make me fall in love.
Oh God, another Asian girl, white boy couple. I groan, dropping my fiance's hand. So there's this shame. She has this inherent shame in this, right? Inherent shame in this part. Dropping the fiance's hand. He hates it when I do this. So do I really? I know it's kind of unkind and self-loathing, but every time I see another couple of our racial makeup, a little part of me sinks. We live in San Francisco, so this dip is as common as the hills. In these moments, I wish we were anything else, that he were my gay best friend, or we were startup co-founders and he were Asian and I were white, that we were exquisitely ambiguous races, or that I could sink my feelings into the sidewalk, be a little warm, or date whomever I want without considering social perception. Interesting. Shame is neither the wisest nor the most mature part of oneself, but it still has a voice. Stop it, you guys. My shame wants to say to those other couples, can't you see? The more of us there are, the worse it looks. It, meaning the prevalent trend of Asian women seeming to end up with white men. It, meaning the perpetuation of Asian fetish. So, here's the thing. That's, of course, one explanation, but that's not the only explanation, right? A lot of my commenters, a lot of my viewers say, what if it's not really Asian fetish, it's Asian women fetishizing white men? It's always blaming the white men. Oh, they're the ones fetishizing the Asian women. But what if it's the Asian women fetishizing the white men? Blame the Asian women. Don't blame anyone, but we'll keep reading and see what happens. The first time I heard the term Asian fetish, I was the only Chinese kid in a tiny school. You see, this is what happens. She's that type of Asian girl. She grew up in a very white community. One of my audience members, I met him yesterday, and he told me he was the only Asian guy growing up in a white neighborhood back when Long Island was very white. Now it's all Asian, but back then it was all white when he was growing up. So he dated white people. That's just because there were no other people to date. But anyways, other students in my class had been pairing up to date since 5th grade, exchanging love notes and making each other Alanis Morissette mixtapes. What the freak? I waited for my Jagged Little Pill cassette, but nothing came in 5th grade or 6th or 7th or 8th. Hey, you know what? Maybe dating in 5th grade, maybe this is actually the problem. It's none of this problem. It's this. Maybe kids should be kids in 5th grade. What do you guys think about that? But again, it's the American values, right? Anyways, finally in 9th grade, I got an email. Now she's in the age of emails. On Valentine's Day from a sporty popular boy. The subject, don't show this to anyone. That's interesting. There's this kind of like, he doesn't feel natural, or he doesn't feel like anyone should know about this too. That's pretty funny. So, the body. A truly terrible poem asking me to be his girlfriend. Oh my God, was all I could think. Someone likes me. Who cares if his grammar left something to be desired? I got on IM and said yes. When classmates heard the news, I learned the term Asian fetish. Friends told me he'd been suffering from it for a little while now. I had only been familiar with the word fetish in regards to things like foot fetish. So I understood the implication. To be attracted to an Asian person was a kinky, odd thing. To be taught at a young age that someone likes you because of a fetish tells you that you are by nature strange, abnormal. I internalized? To be attracted to me was to have some sort of perversion. And so I learned to think of all Asians as less desirable and to be turned off by people who were turned on by me. I think this is the part where you need to do it by a case-by-case basis, because there are some people who might be attracted to you because they're losers. You could even say there's a lot, maybe a majority. That doesn't mean they're all, right? So you have to look at this. This guy, I mean, from what you described him, he was a sporty, popular kid, so he probably wasn't a loser. Why do you lump him with the kind of the loser white guy or whatever, loser non-Asian that dates Asian girl category? So that's an interesting thing that she did. So I would just say Maybe you are too quick to judge here. Look at me using this writing tool, man. Look at that stuff. Anyways, so as I forayed into dating this boy, I was put off by much of what he said. It's the way. Oh, I was going to sing a song, but it didn't work with this. So anyways, my friends weren't wrong about his Asian fetish. I just feel like Asian girls are deeper than other girls, he said to me once. I mean, maybe they are, though. You have to... What is he basing that on? What is he basing this kind of statement on, right? Maybe he's basing it on experience. I don't know. I learned to... Oh, we already read that. I thought he'd get better in college, but every time someone non-Asian showed interest, the whispers would start. I heard he had a half-Asian girlfriend in high school. He took a Japanese class last semester. Huge fan of sushi, like big time. Who isn't a huge fan of sushi, guys? For those of you who don't like sushi, get off this channel. Anyways, sometimes it's hard to tell what was a valid warning sign and what was not. Misguided compliments were a pretty good indicator, though. Every white and Asian male is jealous that I'm with you, my first college boyfriend said. Even at the time, I was wondering, okay, let's look at this. She's pretty cute, man. So... yeah, people will be jealous and be like, oh my God, I want to date her too. And where'd I go? There it is. And even at the time, I remember wondering, why would you assume that I'm only desirable to white and Asian men? I don't know, was your college mostly white and Asian? Usually they are, unless you go to an HBC, historically black college, then they're mostly black. But if you go to normal colleges, they're mostly white and Asian. So I don't get what her reasoning is. Anyways, he assumed that, of course, because of my race. Race-based compliments reveal when people aren't seeing you as the individual that you are, but as a piece of something, huh? It took me a little while to figure this out, but once I became more settled in college, I met my first Asian boyfriend, who ended up being my husband. Ooh, interesting. Sadly, he also became my ex-husband. The relationship was followed by one with another Asian male. Suffice it to say, I went a decade without the thought of white men or Asian fetish even crossing my mind. Now it's something I think about every day because of said fiance. He came into my life during a period when I had sworn off men. I had been in relationships my entire adult life and just wanted to focus on myself. Single for 5 years, I declared my goal proudly. 11 months later, he showed up at my door. 11 months, man, that is a really long time for a woman. Oh, I drew an arrow. That's pretty cool. Nice. He was there for a party I was hosting. And he didn't hit on me. See, he played it cool. He asked me questions and listened to my answers. We discovered that we had gone to the same college, had the same exact self-made major. We're both left-handed. Ooh, lefties, man. I was a lefty, and then my parents switched me into right hand. I would date this girl. Loved to write. Didn't drink and couldn't handle spicy food. Yeah, what kind of Asian are you? I'm from the spiciest part of China, and I can't handle spicy food. So I actually met an audience member yesterday that was from my area in China, and she was making fun of me for not being able to eat spicy food. I'm going to bring her on this channel soon. Anyways, a mutual friend we both loved was sick, and we initially started seeing each other just to visit her in the hospital. Oh, that's cute. Show a sign of caring, basically. That's what it showed. One evening, we found ourselves alone together. I told him I planned to be single for a long time and that we could only be friends. He told me honestly felt more, but would respect my needs. Wow, he accepted the friend zone. He never pushed, but we kept seeing each other. Kept asking each other questions, listening to the answers. It never got boring. Interesting. He's kind of like the backed off friend zone. He's like, okay, I'm in the friend zone. It's cool. I don't care. As I started to consider lifting my relationship ban, that old white ghost came back again. The whispers of Asian fetish. He has a pattern of dating Asian women. Do you know how many Asian girlfriends he's had? He just might have an Asian fetish. What the F? I demanded of him. I never seen it that way, he insisted. I grew up in Cupertino. Cupertino's in California. It's where Apple, I believe, has a campus. So most of my classmates are Asian, and not all of my girlfriends had been Asian. But yes, most, I guess. I just never thought about it. So again, he is the guy version of her. She grew up in a white area, and he grew up in an Asian area. So chances are you're going to be dating, if you grew up in an Asian area, you date a lot of Asians. You grew up in a white area, you date a lot of white people. Anyways, I rolled my eyes at the luxury white men. Have to not think about race in their daily lives. I, on the other hand, started obsessing over it. I couldn't be the girlfriend of someone who had an Asian fetish because that would make me complicit in a pattern that was rooted in violence and colonialization. I mean, it could be. There is a lot of this. If you go to our HuffPost, you could see. But this guy seems to be an exception, right? or I don't know if exception is the right word, but this guy seems to not fit that pattern. I think what's going to happen is this article is going to reach that conclusion, but let's see if it does. There it is. I was busy trying to be a progressive, independent woman. I think that's the problem. You're trying to be a progressive, independent. I'm just kidding, guys. I mean, it is a problem. If you try too hard to be a progressive person, you're kind of screwed up. You don't want to be too extreme in anything. Anyways, an Asian fetish boyfriend did not fit the bill. On the other hand, he hadn't once given me a race-based compliment or made me feel anything but respected. I knew him to be a good person, someone who was working on being better every day. That's the kind of partner I wanted, the kind of person who's so hard to find. So I returned to him with homework. Yeah, talking about fitting own stereotypes. You gave him homework. You can rationalize your dating history all you want. I said one night in bed. I said one night in bed. Okay, so they're banging. Hey, you're not very traditional. Do Asian women have a reputation for being good at pillow talk, by the way? Because I feel like I'm killing it. But you can't deny how it looks from the outside. And most importantly, you have to consider how it makes the woman you've dated feel. Think about how it feels to be the one in a line of many women who look like you. Why should that matter, though? How replaceable must one feel? I mean, you could just not look at race. Because if you not look at race, you just be like, I mean, women have a certain look, right? They have breasts, they got this stuff. So saying this look like you thing is kind of, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? How demeaning is that? Despite his tendency to be defensive, is that one of those hot white guy traits? What the fuck are you? This is falling apart. He took my request to step outside himself seriously. He asked me questions, and he listened to my answers. We delved into not only the dynamic between Asian females and white males, but also unfair portrayals of Asian men throughout history. And the backlash that public figures like Constance Wu, hey, shout out to Winner Lao Wai again for telling me about Constance Wu, and Chloe Kim, I don't know who Chloe Kim is, have contended with for dating white men. It's an uncomfortable conversation, but we've continued it through the years. The reason we're still together is that I know I don't have to wrestle with these discomforts by myself. If we pass 3 couples in a row who are white men and Asian women, and I ask, but seriously, why? He won't pretend he didn't see it too. He's making an effort to not leave me alone in awkward parts of our love. And I'm making an effort to not let go of his hand. We're not perfect, but after I rise from the little dips of shame, I wouldn't actually want either of us to be anything else. But this is interesting. Oh, guys, look at the comments, man. Look at the comments. Wow, I have to sign in to post a message. I want to read the comments. What do you guys think? Should we read the messages? I don't know my Yahoo password, though. Oh, man. I do want to read the reactions, but it's interesting. They're a cute couple, man. What do you guys think? I do, however, think that she probably is the one that wears the pants at home. Like, he's getting bossed around by her. So, I wonder, is she Korean or Chinese? I think she's Chinese. I don't know. But, anyways, this was interesting because he grew up in an Asian area. She grew up in a white area. So, I mean, I get it, right? You go to college, you get exposed to more people, you start examining things. But if you took Occam Razor to this, it would just be like, this guy grew up in a heavily Asian area, so he's used to dating Asian women. She grew up in a heavily white area, so she's used to dating white people. But then, like, all the stuff she heard about Asian fetish and all that, that's, of course, it's going to make you feel weird and everything. I did criticize the article a little bit, but I think it's well written. I did learn some stuff. There's this kind of sense of shame sometimes, even within Asian women. In my experience, when I deal with Asian women who date white guys, a lot of them, it's like they hate on Asian men. But I have been noticing more and more, especially as the issue of Asian women going for white guys has been brought to light more and more, especially in California. Sometimes I pass by Asian women with white guys and they're holding hands and they look at me and immediately both of them feel a sense of shame. I do notice it. So I kind of see what she's going at. They're like, she feels like I'm judging them, especially the Asian woman. I'm not judging them. I'm just looking at them. Like I look at every person I pass by, not aggressively. I just look at them out of curiosity. They look away or they lower their heads especially the Asian woman. She thinks this Asian guy, me, Jerry's gonna judge them and like talk shit about them on YouTube. I don't know if they watch my channel, but they just sense judgment. And maybe there is judgment in me, but I've been noticing that more, that I think there's more and more Asian women as East Asia, especially Korea and China, get more popular in the economics and the popular culture. There's this kind of sense of, wow, should I still be dating white guys as much as it used to? Is it still acceptable among my community, my friends, my people, et cetera, et cetera? So it's interesting. I think we will be seeing a lot more of these articles in the next 20 years as China unfortunately beats America. So that's what I'm going to say, man. This was interesting. I've never read about Asian women kind of feeling shame that they're dating white men, but they're dating white men anyways. So I think we're going to see a lot more of these articles. I really want to start an account right now, but that'll take up too much time. So if you guys want to sign in, read the reactions, and post some of the reactions in the comments if you don't have your own comments. Anyways, maybe we should pitch a story to HuffPost. What should we talk about? Talk about working at a Chinese company, how it sucked. Anyways, this was Jerry. Thank you so much, Winner Lao Wai.
Are you a liar? Are you alone? Will you let me go?